G'day everyone, Spud here from Spud's Games. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you something really cool you can do with your Amiga 1200. Let's go. The really cool thing I found you can do with the A1200 is turn it into an Amiga CD32. Now, it doesn't look like an Amiga CD32, it doesn't magically appear as an Amiga CD32, but if you manage to get an external SCSI CD-ROM, along with what this is, which is a Surf Squirrel, which effectively is a SCSI to PC MCIA converter, then you can turn your A1200 into an Amiga CD32. So you may remember a few videos ago where I did a video on a CRT, a Commodore 1960, and I mentioned I picked it up as part of an Amiga bundle. So part of that bundle was this A1200 and another part was the external SCSI CD-ROM drive. Now attached to that was something I'd never heard of before, and that's what they call a Surf Squirrel. Now I'd never heard of a Surf Squirrel before, so I did some Googling, and I also went through the manuals that he gave me, and if I just reach over here, we have the Surf Squirrel manual. And what I found out was this little card that plugs into the side of your A1200 and interfaces with the SCSI CD-ROM can now turn your A1200 into an Amiga CD32. There are certain requirements that you do need on your A1200 for this to work. You need to be running Workbench 3.0 or greater. You do need to have 2 MB of memory or greater as well. I run this Cobra strikes with speed accelerator card or extra memory card underneath here in the slot. You'll also need, or what I use is an Amiga to Mega Drive converter, and you'll also need something that has multiple buttons available as well, because the Amiga CD32 has multiple buttons that you're going to need. So when you bought the Surf Squirrel, you got obviously the interface cable and the little thing here. You got the manual. And then you also got some installation discs. Now I don't have those installation discs on me. I use some images I found on the internet, which I will put the links to below, and a GoTech to install them. Now I'm not going to pull this apart and install another GoTech and do it all again, but the software installation is pretty straightforward. I'll open up the manual here and I'll show you something critical. You just have to make sure if you do plan on using this to play Amiga CD32 games, you have to select in the options menu when you do install it that you want to install the Amiga CD32 emulation software. Don't forget that. And there's different scenarios. You can do it with an internal hard drive or an external hard drive. So you just select the relevant option that's applicable to your machine. Now what I'll do, I will fire it up because the software is installed on this machine. I will show you something pretty critical, as well as show you the software working and how it does work. It's pretty straightforward, and once it's all installed, it's very easy. But there is something critical, especially if you plan on changing CD-ROM drives. So say this one failed, it didn't work and I had to put another one in. There is a step you have to do to make that work again. Otherwise, just swapping it and then trying it again won't work. Okay, so first up, let's just have a look at everything plugged in. We've got our drive, got our Surf Squirrel plugged into the PC MCIA slot. We've got the 1200, obviously the power and the mouse. I'm just using RGB up to the monitor there. And once we're up there, I'll just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so first things first, I haven't got the CD-ROM caddy on at the moment, but what I wanted to show you is that little issue before where I said about changing devices and where it's critical. And this is also where you can tell if it's registered your device. So I'll just turn on the CD-ROM or the CD caddy. You can probably hear the whir in the background there. So once the software is installed, what you will find is it will create a bunch of icons within your system. You'll just have to expand that out, and one of them will be called CD32. So we're only specifically talking about CD32, and what this is doing is the emulation software, what CD drive it's actually looking for. So if you double click on that, and if you click on preferences, CD device, what you need here is you need something to pop up in this right hand column. Now if you change devices, you need to make sure you do this again, and then the new device will come up here, whether it's a Panasonic or Fujitsu or whatever it is, will come up here with the model number. Make sure you hit save, and it asks you to reboot before the changes will take effect. So just hit OK, let's close them down, and we'll reboot. and then we'll see what happens. So to load a CD32 game, all you need to do is make sure your CD caddy's on. There's a game inside. I've got Banshee in there at the moment for the CD32. It is a copied game. It's not an original game, but I don't have any original games to test with, so I found some images on the internet and downloaded it, and it was just as simple as burning it to the CD. I think I did it 8 times, and then yeah, put it into the caddy, and we'll see if it works. So I've just turned it on. Now you don't need to go into Workbench to load a game. I need to stress that you can boot it straight from the menu. It does take a little minute to load up. I'm actually running a compact flash card in the A1200 rather than the hard drive it come with. So there's English, so we're into the game. I'll see if we can play it for a little bit. We've got sound. Apology there, the screen might look a little bit washed out. I do have a light on it just to light up the area, so if it was dark it would probably look a lot better. So I am just using my Mega Drive wireless controller there into that Amiga to Mega Drive adapter and the Bluetooth controller. Now I'm not sure why it's doing that. I think that's a bit of an issue with the controller, but as you can see it works. It works fine. Well, there we go. Now it's working. There we go. Good sound. I won't play this for too long. This is more of a case of just showing you that it actually worked. Just as I suppose a point, we'll just try another game. I do have a couple here, so we'll give another game a go. So here we are back again. I've just found another game. This one's called Base Jumpers. So we'll just put that on. Now, I haven't tested this one, so hopefully this one works as well. There we go, looks like it's working. There we go, the CD32 symbol up. And there we are, looks like it's working. We go play. Now I will say this is emulation software, so I am not sure whether there's 100% game compatibility. I'll just turn that down a little bit. It's a bit loud. But yep, see, this game works fine. Oh, I jump up there. It's a bit like Donkey Kong. Hey, that is not, okay, so it's only got one button at the moment. That does register the second button there. That's why you really need a CD32 controller or something that's capable of multiple buttons. Anyway, this game obviously works, so another good example here of where it's used. So that's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something, as I learned something when I was discovering all this. When I picked it all up, I had no idea what everything was used for. But once I figured it all out, I'm really glad that I got everything working. So I hope this video has been beneficial to you, especially for the guys who are looking for an Amiga CD32 or a way to play CD32 games. You might already have that option to you just don't know that. Otherwise, it might be a cheaper option than going out and looking for a console. I don't know. I haven't done much research on the price of a SCSI external caddy plus the Surf Squirrel together. I don't know how much that would cost you or set you back on local marketplaces or whatnot, but it could be an option if the Amiga CD32 console is way out of your league. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until the next video, I'll see you then.